I really can't get over that natural looking glow. Like, that is out of hand. Frosty. Oh, now if that is not perfect, I don't know what is. This is Sierra Nevada's Hazy Little Thing IPA, and I will drink an IPA. It's probably great that I do drink IPAs, honestly, because I drink them even more slow. Not that I really drink fast. As much as I enjoy a drink, I'm not a fast drinker. What I'm trying to say is that IPAs, you know, they're really intense and sometimes they're not as drinkable, but I find that what really helps with that is if you make it really cold. But also, I do enjoy a hazy IPA from time to time. So I don't know, maybe give it a whirl. Hazy Little Thing IPA. Guys, it's summertime, okay? It's happening. Whether I like it or not, the panic set in long ago. I'm mentally prepared for the misery that will surely abound. But in the process, I want to try to look as good as I possibly can, right? So this is like my ideal, like, going out for the evening in the summertime look. I'm gonna talk about what I'm wearing, the vibe I'm giving off, which is basically like sophisticated, but the most comfortable you can possibly be. Just breezy, flowy, simple. That's what we're talking about here. Yeah, so we're going for like summertime upscale chic. If you are new here, my name is Cate and I am an exclusively pro-choice influencer, which means that I only feature products from brands that are vocally pro-choice. If you have more questions about that, definitely head to my Instagram. It's public even if you don't have an account. You can go and check it out. It has all the information you need, including my pro-choice beauty brand list. So you can be assured that every product I talk about currently on my channel is going to be from a pro-choice brand. So these are some of my like go-to summertime products. I'm going for kind of like sexy sunburnt. We're going for like long day at the beach, just showered, you look like fabulously bronzed, you know, you have a little bit of makeup on, but you've just got that like natural looking glow and you just are ready for a cocktail in the evening. Like, that's the vibe we're going for. Okay. This is actually a caftan, and since I can't really do a good job of showing you the whole thing in person, I'm gonna put a shot of what it looks like on the screen. I love this piece so much. I actually purchased this to wear for a brand event. Say had this amazing jazz evening for the launch of their Glow Sculpt a couple weeks ago, and so I purchased this caftan because I feel like it is comfortable as hell, but it just looks breezy and chic. And I wore it with my black cowboy boots and some statement jewelry, and it was just like perfection. So I'm probably gonna try to get one of these in every color, but that is what I'm wearing here today. And probably a little bit, I'm going to be rocking a head wrap because summertime, you know, if you get a little warm, I just don't even want to deal with getting sweaty, bangs, anything like that. So yeah, I'm gonna throw on a head wrap. So if you've been hankering to see how I tie my head wraps, definitely stay tuned. Okay, so first things first, I have to tell you, I am sauced, okay? I am wearing the Fenty body sauce on my neck, my décolleté, basically all the way down to like the top to middle of where my chest is. That is where I take the sauce to. Like, it depends on what I'm wearing, right? It is one of the best products I've ever found, period. Anytime I feel like I want to look like I have a little bit of color, I throw this on. It is just a fabulous blurring product. It sets beautifully. I can't say enough about it. On my face right now, I just have skincare. So I did my hyaluronic acid serum. Normally this would be where I would put on SPF if I'm going out in the day, but this look is kind of about like summertime night vibes, so I'm not gonna mess with SPF anyway. I'm not going out today, so. But just know if you were rocking this look in the day, I would probably reach for my Glossier Invisible Shield, which is my favorite primer slash SPF. That is my go-to. I need to restock that product because I've really never found anything quite like it to this day. I found things that try to do what it does, but nothing does what that product, that Glossier Invisible Shield, nothing does what it does as well. And now I'm going to go in with a product that I haven't picked up in forever, which is the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter. I don't know why I've forgotten about this product because it is truly one of the most beautiful cream liquid highlights I've ever seen. And to say it's a highlight is really a disservice. It is so much more than a highlight. Oh my God. Like, look at how that just gave my natural skin this red carpet glare. That is A1. This really does make such a gorgeous primer because what you're going to get is literally just the most natural highlight you can imagine. So good. And I am actually gonna put just a little bit up here as well, because that's always such a beautiful effect when the light hits sort of the side of your brow and you see that glint. Ooh, it's so pretty. That is seriously, that's a legit IPA. And by legit, I mean one that I can handle, which probably isn't legit at all. I really can't get over that natural looking glow. Like, that is out of hand. So now I'm going to take my dampened sponge. This is one from Beauty Bakery. It just gives me the most seamless, natural looking airbrushed application. So we're gonna take a combination of the Tower 28 Sunny Days. I am almost to the very end of this. I feel very accomplished. So this is the shade Melrose, and I'm going to mix that with my go-to foundation right now, which is the ICEY. It has the longest name in the world, but I think what they're calling it is the ICEY Glowy Super Skin Serum Foundation. ICEY, that's too long. But anyway, that's my only complaint about this foundation. So really, I've no valid complaints whatsoever. Look at this bottle. Like, you know this is getting used. Like, yikes bagikes. So those are the two foundations. They look pretty similar in shade, actually. These are like the ultimate sort of like perfect light neutral shade for my skin tone. This is what I like to do with foundation. This is sort of my new technique. I like to think it makes a difference. I do think it does. I basically just take the foundation and I smooth it out evenly over my entire clean palm, of course. And that way, when I press my sponge into it, it's going to get an even application on the sponge and therefore a more even application on my face. I just want you to watch how beautifully this foundation sets over this e.l.f. primer, this e.l.f. glow product. Like, look what this is doing. It really does just look like my skin just did, but just kind of has a filter over it, kind of like, you know, the Paris filter on Instagram, kind of like that. That just like really takes my breath away, truly. Like, that natural glow. Damn. Okay, well, honestly, I haven't really used that combination of foundation except for one other time. And seeing this on camera is making me realize that's the tits. Oh man, it's still cold. What concealer do I want to use? I'm going to use a mix of two concealers. I would just use the Coffee by itself. However, even their lightest shade it's just not quite light enough for me, but that's okay because I mix it with another concealer and it's perfect. I really love the Coffee concealer for the formula. It's the closest to the Cozzens concealer, which Cozzens isn't pro-choice, so can't use that anymore. And yeah, this has come the closest in terms of formula to that product. Tap that onto my under eye, as well as, you know, any places that I feel like need a little bit more coverage. Look at the blend on that damn concealer. Okay, so now I'm going to very, very lightly set my face with powder, and I'm using the Nude Jones Road tinted powder. Now I'm using the untinted one, but I really love this. It's really nice and blurring. And I'm going to just apply it in the places where I feel like I need it most. So I always go for the T-zone first. You see, it just took like all that shine away, but didn't make it look like crazy matte. And I really do have to say, because I use this bronzer almost every time I do my makeup now, this is the Jones Road bronzer. This is so close to the Charlotte Tilbury powder bronzer. It's like splitting hairs, truly. And I loved that Charlotte Tilbury bronzer. So if you are looking for a pro-choice bronzer, look no further than this. I'm telling you, it is beautiful. And I'm just starting right up at the top of my hairline and literally like blending it into my hairline, because, well, tell you right now, I just cannot deal when I think that people can like see where my bronzer starts and stops. You know what I mean? Like that's just not the vibe. Look at how that is just bringing life to the side of my face. Story time, Randy and I went to Gov Ball. We went to the first day of Gov Ball here in New York. We actually went 2 years ago. We did all 3 days, which was a lot. And I didn't realize this at the time because I really had never been to a music festival like that, of that size. I really just didn't know how it was supposed to be. And it was in the parking lot of Citi Field 2 years ago. It was truly a nightmare. Like it was jam-packed. There really wasn't enough room for everyone. Like literally any sort of green space they had, you couldn't even find a spot to sit. It just was kind of a miserable experience. Also, they had it in September because of the pandemic, which I'm just gonna tell you right now, New York City in September, that's a yeah, no for me, dog, okay? You know, the porta potties were, I know it's always a disaster. You're like, yes, Cate, that's how music festivals are. But believe me when I say, Randy is like a seasoned, like super seasoned concert goer and festival goer. And he's like, that was one of the worst I've ever been to. So they changed the venue this year, which thank God. So they moved it to this park in Queens. It's actually where they had the World's Fair. It's Flushing Meadows Park, I think is what it's called. It's huge. And it was like a night and day experience. And you know, it's in June as compared to September. There was room to walk and sit and like, it was like incredible. It was like a completely opposite experience. If you want to see how that Gov Ball experience went 2 years ago, I actually vlogged it and it's one of my more favorite vlogs. So I don't know, go check that out. I'll link that down below. And all I'm doing is taking, this is my favorite brush right now. This is the Jones Road powder brush, face powder brush. Oh my gosh, it is just beautiful. And I literally didn't even put powder on it. I'm just using it to diffuse any bronzer that didn't get totally blended out. Yeah, that looks great. Okay, so we're gonna do brows. I like to keep it super simple. I'm just using my Glossier Boy Brow. Forgot how quick this makes doing my brows. Like compared to the brow gel that I have been using, which is the Benefit Brow Gel, I like it, but sometimes I feel like it's a little bit too wet. And actually the Glossier is kind of more of a Goldilocks situation. It's somewhere in the middle. It's just a tad more stiff, so I feel like I can control it better. So the headliner was Lizzo, and she was, I mean, like, big surprise. She was absolutely fucking incredible. She did this flute trio with 2 other women and it was truly so beautiful. And also saw Haim, which is one of my favorite bands. I absolutely love them. That was fantastic. That was earlier in the day. Nothing new here, super boring, quick eye. I'm going in with my favorite eyeshadow single from MAC right now, which is Naked Lunch. It just truly gives me like the perfect sort of my lid, but better with just a little bit of, not shimmer as much because it's a frost. This formula, this shade just really smooths out my lid and makes everything better. Okay, so I'm not gonna do liner. I'm just curling my lashes and I'm going in with my newfound, and by that I mean I just really rediscovered it because I've had it here the whole time. This is the Merit Clean Lash Mascara. It kind of goes against what I normally do with mascara because I don't generally do a tubing mascara. I know a lot of people love tubing mascaras because of the cleanup. I actually find those little black tubes to be like more cleanup for me, strangely enough. So I kind of stay away from tubing mascaras. However, this is a tubing mascara, but it's so good. The tubing issues when I'm like cleansing my face aren't as bad as other tubing mascaras. And I also feel like it's just such a good formula that I just kind of don't care. I believe the first person I ever saw, and maybe only person I've ever seen like really go on about this mascara is Danielle from Our Time of the Month. And she has incredible eyes, like her lashes, her eyes, everything. It just made her eyes pop. I do remember that, even more than they already do. Okay, I am gonna have to go in and like clean up some mascara spots, but that happens to me almost every single time I do my eye makeup. And I'm gonna do my lower lashes as well. And just to make sure my brows stay in place, because I do like them to be nice and fluffed up, I go in with my Benefit Fluff Up Brow Wax. Okay, so now we're getting to the fun stuff. So the shade I'm going to be using is a shade I actually just used in a live stream and I fell in love with it. I feel like this is one of the Merit Flush Balm shades that kind of scares people off. Ah, so gorge. Just that soft, like orangey red, like what? And just like bronzer, I always want to make sure that people can't see where my blush ends. So I always make sure to just really make sure there are no edges. Yes. Now I'm gonna go in with a lippy that I haven't pulled out in a long time actually. These are the Glow Play, the MAC Glow Play lippies, and this is the shade Rouge Awakening. Is that not just beautiful? I actually kind of kissed the back of my hand to take a little bit of product off because I am gonna go in with a gloss over this, but I just wanted that beautiful kind of light, sheer, orangey red lip. And just to like really make it super juicy and super summery, I'm gonna go in with this Dan lip oil that I cannot get enough of. So this is the Ami Collet lip oil in the shade Smitten. Can't get away from a juicy coral lip. Okay, so we're almost to the finish. I'm gonna throw on my head wrap. So story behind this is actually my mom's, and I believe this is like from before I was born. So I think this is over 40 years old, and I've kept it because I love it so much. Even though it has a few holes in it, I just hide them. Like, cause isn't it just the most beautiful print you've ever seen? I've never seen anything else like this, honestly. I've looked so far and wide. People ask about my head wraps all the time, and they're really just kind of pieces of fabric I've found or that were handed down. Like, they're usually not like from like a head wrap place, you know? Actually don't even dry this anymore because I don't want it to like tear apart anymore. It just always looks good. It never disappoints. And this is always what I'm looking for in terms of a fabric for my hair for head wraps. I love like a really soft but not too soft, like a little bit stiff cotton like this, but not too heavy. It's like it's Goldilocks, this head wrap. If anyone sees this and is like, oh my God, I know a place that makes things that look like that, please tell me where it is. So I'm tapping into a little bit more persimmon right on my apples and like taking it almost up into my under eye, but not fully committing. I feel like pasty people like me get scared of like orangey blushes because they're like, oh, that's not for me. But you know what? I beg to differ. So that is the look, and yeah, it's just kind of like a glowy, like healthy sunburned look, if you will. Also, another thing I will say about head wraps, instant facelift. It just pulls everything up and not mad about it. Oh, and you know what I like to do as a finishing touch now if I have the time? Once my mascara has really, really dried down, I go back in. You have to be really careful. Be very, very careful when you do this. You just go in to your fully dried mascara lashes and just one last crimp, super light, only a few seconds, and like look at what a difference that made. Yeah, I feel like that little step right there is sort of the equivalent of like setting spray for the face. It just helps your curl last longer and just gives it that last little like push that it needs. Okay guys, that wraps this up. I hope you enjoyed this sophisticated, flowy, casual yet upscale summertime tutorial. You guys are the best. Please stay safe out there, and cheers till next time.